find out all of his upcoming dates on DaveTempleComedy.com. I'd be more specific, but he didn't give me any plugs.
Yeah, I don't have too much coming up other than the Black Ass Comedy Show that I do every Sunday here in Brooklyn. We're closing out the New York Comedy Festival November 14th. So, if you're in New York, come to that. Tomorrow I'm headed to Houston to do Skankfest for a few days, and then I'll be in Phoenix. So yeah, I'll be around, but I don't know where the people are. So I'm done looking for you people. Come look for me.
Well, at least one of your dates is you're gonna see a lot of sad Astros fans, which I love. Oh, eat that up with a fork and spoon. Yeah. And Houston. Oh yeah. Braves won the World Series last night.
Oh, last night.
Not that I had to tell you.
No, I know.
Wow.
I'm on top of that stuff.
That happened last night.
I don't necessarily know if this one captured the national attention like a lot of them do.
For that to be a big moment in someone's life and what I was doing, Jesus Christ. It's like I felt the same way about January 6th because I didn't know that happened until like the next day either. And I was just like, wow, that happened?
It's an odd thing to equate it with, but I can see where you're going.
It's just the fact that there's big events going on and I'm like fine in the house by myself.
I know. Yeah, that's the way I look at everything now. It's just like let the world burn. I don't even give a shit anymore. Well, Joe, I'll let you pick something that tickles your fancy since we talked about.
Well, I wanted to kind of pick up only just because I'm thinking about. I want one.
You think interesting?
Yeah,
oh my God, we should have had you out.
Girls, man, I got 2 kids. I'm already. In my mind, first of all, it's unfair to bring any more in, especially for my oldest daughter, man. I was so poor when I became a dad at 19. You know what I mean? Man. So it's like, if I start popping out kids at 38 now that I'm stable, you know how unfair that is to the older kid? I would never want to let my kid down that way. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Well, I can certainly put you in contact with my brother because he's really studied up on it. But also, here's the Cliff Notes version. This has got all the information you need. That was the GQ article.
Okay.
I even took the time to highlight the important parts for you because I'm always thinking.
Oh, damn.
But it is. I have to tell you, it doesn't seem as horrible as I initially thought it was going to be. As far as the advances in all things vasectomy is concerned, seems like you're in, you're out, one stitch. It's just the whole idea.
Yeah. How long did he say he had it for?
Well, he was in and out, and he said...
how long ago has it been since
it's last Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Very recent.
No. See, the only thing that I'm worried about, and I feel like we talked about this on this show before. Do you think over time you'd look at the man different? Because, like, naturally, this isn't the thing. Like,
I'd feel less threatened, yeah. Yeah.
The way the penis would be slightly less aggressive, you're saying. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It is true, though. I was halfway through that article. I'm like, with the single guys, like, how do these women know they're not lying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not good people. You really would have to have it on your refrigerator, like a good grade.
But again, I don't know that.
You're thinking that way. Jesus Christ, I wasn't even thinking that.
Oh yeah, I was.
Because it is so taboo amongst men. I doubt that that's the thing men would be lying to a woman about.
That's a good point.
They would be lying about how much money they make, what their job is, before they would lie about having been snipped.
Yes, well, our own Matt McCall, and he's talked about this openly before too. But when he was just a dirty little single bastard, he would always put his STD tests, his latest ones, on his refrigerator, like a 5-year-old with an A in like math or something, just to show perspective. Girls go like that he's totally clean and stuff like that. I don't know if that would.
Then I would also look and be like, how often does this guy get tested?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I always.
How many hoes is he sleeping with? That he gets nervous and needs to get tested.
No, I don't think it's necessarily. Oh, wait, were you talking about for STD or
STDs? Yeah.
That's a paranoia thing. I think that's the same as like people who are extremely paranoid about COVID. Like, the slightest cough or anything and they go to get tested, or some people have to get tested 2-3 times a week, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like an overkill. I was just on the train. I just watched a Jewish dude with no mask on cough into a newspaper and then wipe his mask, like wipe his mouth off with a plastic bag. You know what I mean? So it's like his view on germs are way different than. So it's the same thing with like somebody who's constantly getting tested. They're just hyper aware. You know what I mean? Like they're too. It's the same as somebody who's like hyper aware about washing your hands. Like, good for you, but that's a lot of brain power that your immune system could be taking care of some of that on your own. You know what I mean? It's like you can focus on your breathing all day long, but when you're not paying attention to your breathing, it just kind of happens.
I hate that. Now I'm aware of it. I hate when that happens.
Right. But it's the same thing with like all of these germs. Like you can worry if you want, but like it was going to happen regardless,
Or it's like when someone reminds you that you can see your nose.
Yeah, right. It was there all along.
Now I can't stop looking at it.
Right.
Mine's definitely crooked.
So let's like cool out on the whistleblowing. Like we're always, I get it. We want like a safe, sterile world for us. But when you start making people aware of shit that they don't want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, see, I do love, like, it's a blissful ignorance. There's a lot of that in my life. Even I constantly get on my phone, it's asking me to set up like the exposure tracing for COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
I was
no.
like, I don't want to know.
Right. Now think
absolutely
about
not.
that. For the
Yeah.
person who says yes and they're aware of every time they make, good for you. But whew, not a good way to live, bro.
How do you
Not a good way to live.
There is a weird thing with time, though, and I've never, shockingly, been a germaphobe or a hypochondriac or any of that shit. But, like, weird circulating around example. We have a guest coming up later on in the month, and I was listening to a podcast that she was on recently, and she's openly talking about the fact that she has herpes. And this is the last person that you would think would have this, and that how it's affected her life. And I remember thinking, God damn, like, I'm 46 and I've still, knock on wood, never got anything. And I never used to care about STDs one way or the other, either way, which is terrible. But now that I've gotten this far, it's like with COVID. I've gotten this far without getting it. Now I'm getting a little, not paranoid, but I'm a little more.
You really don't want to get it.
I really don't want. I've gotten this far, and I've got a 46. Like, it's just, I don't know.
The funny thing, too,
the time thing is weird.
But and this is a crazy theory, and pardon me, I've smoked some stuff this morning called Sunday Driver, so it's got me in a good cruise. But
it's Wednesday.
I know, right? But it slows you down and it allows you to think and process everything. But
so far.
like that concept of like worrying about a disease at a later age, like if it was going to happen. It was going to happen, right? Even if you get it now, like it's all right. I watch these ducks in the park. Like, what is the shit that goes from like that dirty black duck into the white swan, but no one ever really notices that the swan and this black ass geese are the same thing? They always just think, why is this swan with those black ass geese? But like,
It's because it's a baby swan.
yeah, and when they turn white, the black ones they turn white.
Okay.
They all do that. That's like going through puberty, right?
Yes, it's like
But the crazy thing is, when like in the pack, like I work out in the park, so I see this shit in Prospect Park. I'm watching them change now, right? And like when there's 3 of them who have turned white, and the rest of them don't fuck with them because they've turned white. They're different. But the other ones that don't, you're all gonna turn white over the winter. But they don't know. So it's the same thing like if you're worried about getting COVID because you have, what if COVID is the next step?
Yeah, no, you're right.
What if it's the next step?
And see, that's what concerns me too. Is I've never really welcomed death.
Right.
Now I wonder. Now is this going to make me start worrying about death? I
I
hope.
want to be white.
It could. I
I'm
mean,
at the bar all the time.
Also, I think you're taking a little too long resting in between sets when you're working out.
oh wow.
You're watching these swans.
Nah, you know what? So I work out by this lake in Prospect Park, right? And this is the funniest shit in the world. I've noticed. This is what made me stop and notice them this morning. The big one, is like one that goes,
I would have watched you watch these.
and they all stop. They all stop whatever the fuck they're doing, and they just immediately all beeline to the one that's squawking. And it's like a morning meeting or some shit, right?
Wow.
But when you see the morning meeting, the white ones, the 3 white ones, they're significantly larger than the other ones now.
Which makes sense.
And
I
they started like dark, and you could see them change day by day, where you see the white feathers coming out from underneath as they got bigger. So, but the other ducks don't fuck with them at all.
I love how you're now personally invested in this duck family.
That's the beauty of working out outside. You just get something else to look at every day, and just kind of like, as opposed to just looking at yourself, which is ridiculous.
I run by this construction site, and there's these 3 construction workers who are kind of petite. And then there's this one big guy. Should I keep going?
Yes.